Hey, hey, hey,
Hey,
hey, hey.
hey,
Guys,
hey.
ladies, gentlemen, folks, children of all ages, sentient beings from around the galaxy and beyond, welcome back to the Bodhi Bros. I'm John with a J.
And I'm Phoenix Ray. And today we have the energy reading for the week of 4th of July.
7421. Add the numbers up, have some fun if you're into numerology. I don't know. What does that equal?
Okay.
7 plus 4 is 11 plus 21, 12, 13, 14. So 14 or 5,
I don't know.
whatever you're into. Doesn't matter. Okay. So, or it does matter. What is matter? Never mind. So,
Does math even really exist?
I don't know. What would Homer Simpson say? What is mine? What is mine? No matter. I think that was his line. Well, now we got a character for the thumbnail. Homer it is this week. All righty, moving on.
So it's to be
John.
Homer and 4th of July.
Oh yeah, it's starting off good, man. Woo, that's
All
good. That's
right.
going to be fun because John with a J is learning how to thumbnail, folks, to bring you a more rich experience as far as your scrolling through our content is concerned. Hope you enjoy. All
All
right.
right. So what we're going to do. We're going to pull, each of us are going to pull a card for career, relationship, and general overall energy. So you can pick either of our cards, my card, or John's card for, let's say, for career, or you can go with both of our cards. Like, let's say you have, your main job, but then let's say you have a side business or a project you're thinking of starting. So then you could use John's card for that. And same with relationship, you can use John's card for the relationship with your significant other, and my card for relationship with your friends and family. However you want to do it, it's up to you. The power is in your hands.
Bum, bum, bum.
Today, I am going new deck,
Oh, you did not. What a surprise.
still wrapped up in the plastic, never been opened, never been used. Got it today.
I'm blushing
this,
over here.
this is Sacred Forest by Denise.
We lost the audio. Repeat. You blew it up. You blew it up with your awesomeness, man. You blew it up with the new deck. It's awesome. So we have not yet. Still can't hear you. We have brought to you by Phoenix Ray.
All right.
New
All right.
shit. He's back. He's back. So
All right. So let me rip this open. Get this thing open here, and
oh
then
yeah, give us the reveal, man. This is like a product reveal here.
yeah.
Let's look. Oh, it sounds good.
Okay, so let's see what I have no idea even what these cards even look like.
What okay? What drew you to? Now there's thousands of decks out there.
Here's the book.
What drew you to this?
I was looking on Amazon for just a new deck and just looking through them, and I came across this one. I'm like, oh, Sacred Forest. I'm like, I'm down with that. It says what 52 cards to open 52 cards to open energy portals of a higher dimension. I'm like, that's right up my alley.
Sounds like a winner.
So let me get this off here. Oh, these are really nice. These are
So
like
I'm usually surprising you, Ray. Today,
look at this. Hummingbird spirit. You're all about the
you
hummingbirds.
know,
That's like you see, you're already a fan now.
I'm at a loss for words, man. Like I said, I'm the one always surprising you. You didn't even tell me pre-show that you had a surprise for me. That's the way to do a surprise, I
Oh,
think.
here, we got to send this some love since it's brand new.
Oh yeah, man.
Send some love to that. Send
Oh, we
some
get
love.
some Bodhi love, man.
There we go. There we go.
All right, folks, that's the way to do a surprise. Don't tell someone you have a surprise. Just surprise them. That's the next. That's the next level of surprising. It's hard because when you have a surprise, you get all excited. And you're like, I have a surprise for you. But
I'm usually bad with that.
what you just did right there, that blew me away because I had no idea it was coming. We have a new deck, folks, for our Bodhi Bros library. So you're going to use that one for the whole thing.
I'm gonna go with that one for all three. So
Okay. I'm going to use this for a career.
okay, spirit animal. I like that.
All right, these are really pretty cards. That's just the book. Okay, the cards are here. Did you show us the back of your cards?
It's like someone riding kind of like on a Pegasus
Oh,
type.
okay. All right, got a little
Nice.
Mandala like wheel there. All right. So we're going career first. Let's get into it. Whoa. Some might say it's that card right there. Is it though? Should I peek at it? No, I won't.
Ooh,
You got your card?
on my card.
Okay, these guys are popping out here, so we're gonna go. Oh, 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 Ooh.
Flawless. And look what I got. I got wolf spirits.
Oh, all right.
So wolf spirit, koala spirit.
This says Spirit has a plan, and it's card number 35.
Mine's just number 51.
All right. Different. So this is a lot of times we pull stuff very much in the same line of
Yeah.
of energy and interpretation and stuff. This looks like it might be a little different. So if you picked Ray, or if you picked Ray for one portion of your career and me for your other side hustle or artistic project or whatever, this would be kind of cool to see how this plays out. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I have it up.
Okay.
Here.
Yep.
Looks like pretty short. Your family has your back. For some people, their family are those related by blood, while for others, their friends are their true family. Many might find it is their connection to those in spirit who are, indeed, their true family. Whoever and wherever your family, right now they are supporting you, you are safe. You can safely communicate your truth with family members. This is the time to be willing to communicate from the depth of your being. Be willing to stand, talk, and address others from the center of your being. This heals. Many people have misconceptions and false stereotypes about wolves. They don't understand that wolves are highly social and loyal. Family means everything to a wolf. Each pack has a place in their social status of the clan. Wolves are also excellent communicators. They use their voice in various configurations. They also use their expressions to convey meaning to other pack members. They are highly protective of other members of their pack, yet they enjoy playing even into adulthood. The spirit of the wolf says, support is all around you, even if you are not aware of it. Release the belief that you have to do it alone. You don't. This is a time to heal any rifts in your family. Give encouragement to those in your soul tribe, your family, and your community. Allow yourself to be supported.
Oh, I love that. So it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, it's okay to ask for help.
It's okay to ask for help, and this specifically is referring to family, and but multiple families. Your
Right.
blood family, your soul family, your soul tribe. You know, your folks you hang out with, go to drum circles with, do potluck dinners with, whatever, and maybe on a bigger scale, your community. You know, the city you live in, the neighboring towns that all make up people interacting in that web of connectiveness. To me, it really sounds like everyone that you run into that's a part of one part of your family or another, you should share your intentions with your plans for your career. Like, I want to do this, or I've been doing this, but I'm ready to step into this. This has served me well, but I want to leave this behind, and I want to forge forward into this. How do you feel about that? Or not even ask them how they feel. Just make that proclamation, and see what return you get. And in this way too, I think it's very healthy to see who is truly supporting you, and who really is by your side, to help usher you into this next chapter of life, and pay more attention to those folks, and spend maybe more time nurturing those bonds versus the ones that may not be serving you well, and they're like, I don't know, do you know the odds of you? And sometimes those people are just trying to protect you. They come from a place of fear, and they're projecting their own insecurities upon you. um, and you know, accept that with loving grace and understanding that it's not about you, it's about them. But the people that do offer you that wild, just unconditional support, and yeah, man, you should do it, and like if you need any help, or whether it's, you know, financial, or or just a cheerleader, or you know, a camera person, or whatever your project or your next a reference is concerned, someone that's like as excited as you are, maybe that person should be a more substantial part of your life, or a closer part of your family, so to speak. I don't know, but spread it out there. When you're at, you know, the grocery store, if you see someone in your community, or like, it's like, hey, what are you doing? You know, there's always that small talk. You can make it big talk by saying, I'm going to be a singer, and blast them over with that. Whoa, what about your job? Or yeah, my job. But I'm going to be a singer. I'm starting a new business. That's a great one to share with your community, because
Right.
you know what better way than to help each other, and thrive as a network, and as a unit. So I don't know. That's what I hear.
Well,
Just share.
I think too, when it comes to career, I mean, this could be a lot of different ways. It could be something like talking to your peers at work, your work family, maybe
Oh,
asking
work
them,
family, work
going
family.
to them with advice or problems. Not putting everything on your back. That is, it's okay to ask for help, because other people may have some good ideas of maybe you could do something easier or more time efficient. Maybe there's something that you're not seeing, and also too, other people. Maybe not even just people you work with, but just people that your family, your friends, asking them for insight, what's going on in your job or your career aspirations. Sometimes people may have, different insights, different strategies, different advice that you would never ever thought of on your own, different perspectives. And maybe even people that aren't really in the same field as you, but a lot of times people can relate, on certain business things. Someone might come to you and be like, oh, why don't you do it this way or that? And this is what I did. I had a similar situation when I had this career, and maybe that can kind of open up something in you and be like, oh yeah, make your life easier. And if you're starting a new business or a different project, it's a lot of that could just be networking and talking to people in your field and putting yourself out there either online or in person, and going up to those people and asking questions. How do they do it? How do they get their level of success? What problems did you run into? So
Yeah, those are really really good points. I'm glad you touched on the work family. That's another family that we have access to, that we often maybe don't color in that as positive of a light for one way or another, but they're truly a family. We spend so much time with the people that we work with, especially if we don't work remotely and we have a physical place that we go to. Um, but even so, and then you also touched on the reaching out online as well. And as we start to get out more and more, and I think it's so paramount that we do that, and we start connecting and rebuilding our communities again, and each other and ourselves, and all of that stuff, and all of those wonderful things, until we feel totally comfortable and confident doing that. It's definitely really important to, like what Phoenix Ray just shared, using those online platforms, because those could be very very powerful. The groups, uh, the all the different networks, not just Facebook but all of them, and connect with people that you may never even have known live right around the corner from you, and can help you in the most immeasurable and unimaginable of wonderful ways.
right.
Good card, man. Good
Yeah.
start. I don't know how I'm going to fare up against the wolf as a koala, but we'll see. cross your cross your fingers. There we go.
All
Screens
right.
popping up all sorts of weird stuff. Okay, here we go.
I'm listening.
Koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. I just love these cards. They're so cool, man. Like a poster of these. All right, number 35. In nature, the koala moves slowly through the branches of the eucalyptus tree, leisurely chewing the leaves, reminding us that life is not a race or competition. Chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need and that Spirit will always be there with gifts to sustain us. You are being asked to trust that by moving slowly, with faith in abundance, sorry, that is everywhere, surrounding to a power greater than yourself, you will be able to experience the manifestation of your desire. As you take your time enjoying the riches available to you right now, sitting peacefully, you begin to radiate the joy and abundance you seek. Spirit is here to help you discover happiness, pleasure, and contentment. All gifts that are yours now and in the future. Have faith and trust in Spirit's plan for you, and know that you are loved and cherished.
Hmm. That's very, very beautiful. What I kind of got out of that in a way is letting go. But what of letting go of what? Letting go of the stuff you can't control. So a lot of times what we can't control is the outcome, but we can control how we do our jobs, the effort we put in, our energy, our vibe, our resistance. We could work on a resistance to stuff. And instead of trying to always claw our way and be stressed out about the outcome of what we're doing, is just to kind of have faith. It's kind of having faith in yourself, having faith in your own abilities. Be like, you know what, I got this. You know what, I'm smart. I know what I'm doing. I have the experience. I have faith in my abilities to complete my task, to do this job the right way. I'm not going to worry about how this looks a year from now, maybe the final. I just know if I take care of this moment, I dedicate myself to this moment with my energy and my intent and my intensity, that I'm going to be successful. How it's going to look, how the end product will look, I don't know. I can't control that. All I can control is my energy, my consciousness, my awareness. And that's why I'm going to, and in a way, there's sort of a relaxation takes over. You don't have to take yourself so serious. A lot of times we're so serious, and, relax. You got this. Just worry about this moment. This moment right here is all you need to worry about. It's all that you need to put your effort into is right now. So relax, enjoy, have fun, have fun along the way. You don't have to, take it too serious, laugh, enjoy. It's all passing show. It's all just a ride. And if it doesn't work out the way you wanted to, well, hey, you know what? At least you know that you did your part. You did your best. And whatever reason why things didn't go the way they did, now it's an experience. It's something that you can learn from. So let go, learn to control what you can control, let go of that other crap, and then enjoy the ride.
Very cool. What
Yeah.
what I what I heard through the reading and through your interpretation was loving thyself, and just being in love with yourself and knowing your value, and knowing that you have all of these abundant resources available to you everywhere you go, everywhere you are, everywhere inside of you, and trusting, as Ray said and as the reading said, having faith in those abilities, in your ideas, in your creations, and all of the effort that you've put in so far. Um, it's not. I used to scream this from the rooftops, Ray. So it tickled my heart to see this, and that's why I went like this during the reading. It's not a competition. I
Right.
used to tell all my friends, it's not a competition. And a lot of times is met with much disdain too. It's not a very um, likable stance. Like it's met with much resistance, let's say. And well, it is. Let me tell you why life's a competition. What? Well, tell me why. You have life figured out. You understand. So it is a competition. You're telling me it's a competition. It doesn't have to. It could be a competition if you make it a competition. If you want it to be a competition, and that's your experience. You are the screenwriter of your grand play. When I proclaimed these things, when I stood on my soapbox or stood on the rooftop and was very frustrated, I'm like, it's not a competition. That's the life that I was screaming for. I was tired of the competition, the rat race, if you will. And and I wanted a new experience. Oh, and they say careful what you wish for. And I got it. And has it been the most easiest course of adventure? No, but it's been very educating and very glorious, in the cast of characters that I've met, and the love that I've created, with family, friends, community, and just around the globe. Um, when we can abandon the competition, um, with each other, and that there's healthy competition when it comes to like sports and having fun and stuff like that,
Yeah.
sure, but like as far as life is concerned, life does not have to be you against the world or the world against you, or oh, and if you're in that environment and it doesn't feel good, get out of that environment. It doesn't, you don't have to compete to have a job. If you like that, then do it. But if you don't like it, it doesn't, and I didn't like that anymore, then get out of that and do something where that's not part of the element of the equation that has to equal success. Like you have to compete, you have to beat the other person, you have to climb that ladder, whatever. The koala doesn't do that. So what koala sits in a tree and eats the leaf, and there's endless leaves. The koala's doing just fine. So I think the message here today is, folks, like if it's not career wise, if it's not working where you're at, sit back, like Phoenix Ray said, and relax and eat some leaves. Sit in or by a tree. I'm saying get as close to the koala experience as you can. I'm not fucking shitting you when I say eat some leaves. Get some leafy greens. Eat some really grounding, healthy, vibrant green foods, lettuces, kales, spinaches, whatever. Eat that stuff. Sit by a tree, right? These are really, really strong energies. These are really grounding energies. These are really blissful, potentially empowering moments. Should we choose to break the mold, course down a different river, and try out a new experience? Eat some leaves, sit in or by a tree, be a fucking koala. I'm going to be a koala today after the podcast.
Don't forget your wolf pack.
As best I can. Yeah, don't forget your wolf pack. There's going to be too many images to put on this thumbnail this week, Ray. We're just getting started. We've got Homer, the wolf pack, koala,
America.
America. Shit. It's going to be one of those really, really
This is the 4th of July right here.
very cluttered potpourri like thumbnails. A cornucopia of explosive celebration. All right, what are we on to next?
Relationship.
It's not a competition. Yeah, but love yourself. That was the thing. Yeah. So, sorry to get back. I got off track there a little bit. Love yourself. Love yourself so hard till the handles fall off. Love yourself. Oh, you're doing the same deck, right? I have to show. Okay.
Yeah.
In case you guys want to choose me for one type of relationship, this is the deck I'll be pulling from. Ray's pulling from the same Sacred Forest new deck that he just got. Mine is the Mermaids and Dolphins. So maybe it's about it. Let's see. A relative, a pet, a neighbor, someone you want to meet, someone you have never seen before in your life. Oh, you got your card already. Okay.
Got my card.
Oh, I got a Macarena this
All
thing.
right.
Shaking
I'll show you what my card is. It's called Mystic Meadow Sanctuary. There's like a looks like something from Alice in Wonderland. There's like a bear and there's like a rabbit.
Looks like a fox. Those are really cool cards, man.
Yeah.
Another one I'd like to have make posters of, put them around the house. All right. Card 26, you said?
Yeah.
Shabba!
Father healing. Nice.
On the bottom it says, your personal power increases as you give any father-related issues to heaven. Back to Ray's theme of letting go. Am I first or you first?
Yeah, you're first.
Son of a gunski. All right. Father healing. I believe it's alphabetical.
What number is it?
It is not a number.
Oh, no number. Okay.
All right. All right, not too long. Your personal power increases as you give any father related issues to heaven. Give it up. This card shows you that you still have some father issues left to heal. No shit. The healing doesn't need to take a lot of time. It simply requires your willingness to be free of any old anger, grief, or fear related to your male parent. Universal energies are either male or female. Male energy is expansive and giving. Female energy is nurturing and receptive. If we're unhealed with respect to our father, the universe seems to be, oh, it actually says that. The universe seems to be ungenerous. If we're unhealed toward our mother, we won't accept the gifts the universe offers us.
Hmm.
The more you focus on the spiritual truth of your father, the more your heart will be receptive to the universe's continuous and all encompassing giving. Accept your rightful bounty and open your arms to your divine inheritance. Wow. Affirm, quote, I now focus on the love that is the spiritual truth of my Father, and I hereby balance any karma between us. I now let go of everything but the love and the lessons of my relationship with my Father.
Wow.
Well, that's a tall order to fill, Ray.
Yeah. I mean,
My
it's good to
goodness.
have that kind of proclamation and saying that, but I definitely something that we both know. A lot of those wounds go a lot deeper than. I mean, it's kind of like weeding. You can pull the weed from the surface, and oh, it looks good for a little bit, and then it
Right.
comes up a week or so later.
Right. That's a great analogy.
So we kind of have to get to the roots, which the root is definitely doing some sort of shadow work. Um, Now, sometimes we sit down and we think, okay, I'm going to heal my father wound right now, and sometimes nothing can come up because sometimes we have to experience a trigger first, and then
Yeah.
that trigger will kind of lead us to that wound. But so it says something, about divine masculine, divine feminine. Maybe just being mindful of your masculinity and seeing what triggers come up, um, being mindful of that, and then maybe using that as a kind of like a starting point to go into some sort of shadow work and some sort of healing work. Um, but I would say probably 99% of us had to have some sort of trauma with our.
Oh no, we lost Ray. Come in, Ray. Over. We've temporarily lost Ray. Usually this only lasts about 5 to 7 seconds. So we'll take this opportunity to ask our folks in the audience to like. He's back. Subscribe and share. We're back. All right.
But so I just be mindful of triggers that are within your masculine energy. Um, we all have some sort of trauma with our fathers. Being whether we had a father physically present or not physically present.
That's traumatic in and of itself.
Yeah, so it could be a little bit heavy, but and maybe even see some of your own actions. Be mindful of that. Maybe there's certain traits that you picked up from coping mechanisms you picked up from your father that now that you're projecting onto maybe your children or other people around you. Um, like my father has a very bad temper and stuff like that, which I don't have a temper, but sometimes inside I can kind of like, that inner voice, that inner judge, that inner critique. Sometimes that my ego will, use his voice to say something
Mm,
and, criticize myself
yeah,
or
yeah,
criticize
yeah.
somebody else, but I'll hear it, but it'll be like his voice in my head saying that stuff. So that's, an opportunity where I can go within and heal that.
Mm.
Right. So,
Yeah, as you know, it's a tough card for me to read too, man. Just hearing your analogy was perfect with the weed and everything, and sometimes these cards open up the door to good thought and intention, but we definitely should consider diving a little deeper, as Ray said, to get to the root of things. And all I kept hearing the whole time during the reading and during your interpretation was trauma, 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 trauma. Yep, it's not. It's just it's a word that a lot of us maybe interpret differently. Maybe our definitions are similar. Maybe they're vastly different. But it's an important conversation to crack open and jump into, because that's once you really start seeing life not in a dismal way, or it's what doomsday way, but through the lens, I believe this is the phrase, through the lens of trauma, seeing life and your relationships and what you have and don't have, what you want and why you want that and what you don't want and why, and what you're scared of, what all these things. Once you start really investigating the traumas of your life in a healthy way, not in an obsessive, that's all you do all day way, but when they come up, and we like to use this phrase in the Bodhi Bros, meeting those feelings or those triggers with loving awareness. Um, that's when the magic of life starts to unwind a little bit. And as far as the father element's concerned, we're talking about relationships right now. We're in relationships, right? That was the topic. So as it pertains to relationships, maybe it's how you're presenting yourself. Ray touched on this, as how you're showing up as a man, and how whether there's things that you like or things that you're uncomfortable with, or things that remind you of things that you didn't like from your father or your father's father or your father's father's father. I mean, this thing goes a long way. Like I said, it's not the weed, it's the root system underneath this thing goes for centuries, folks. So, and is it our responsibility to heal our father's wounds? No. Um, but we have to take responsibility for ourselves and what's in us. And when we do that, and when we own what's inside of us, we can really transform our lives and the way that this next weed turns into a beautiful tree, perhaps, or transforms into a fiery eagle. I don't know. But like, the story is ours to rewrite and to write in a way that we want the next generation to live and be and flourish and transform. We don't have to perpetuate the same cycles over and over and over and over and over again. So the father wound, how you're showing up in your romantic relationships too. Maybe for some of you out there, fatherhood is impending. Maybe it's already upon you. Maybe it's a consideration. So, whilst pondering these things or swimming in the sea, neck deep in the topic of fatherhood, how do you feel about it? How are you doing? How do you feel like you will do as a father? So, all these are things, as Ray was talking about, finding those triggers or whatever, that are things to pontificate on. And allow to just come to the surface and meet each one of them with how you feel your experiences. There's something I'm fishing for something right now, so I feel like I'm not talking in circles, but I feel like I'm trying to bide time here, because I don't want to miss the important part of the father thing here as it pertains to relationships. And it was, so sit as the koala bear eating some leaves under the tree. Think, sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's hard to think of your dad or your grandfather, that father image. Maybe it was an uncle or of sorts, your primary care provider. But as you sit in the power and the peace of the tree, and with your super leafy greens, thinking of Homer Simpson and America, and the fact that life is not a competition. Um, yeah, I'm missing that final father element, Ray. So let's do this, because it's going to come back to me probably as soon as we start the next reading. Let's
Yeah.
bookmark this. I might address it at the end of the episode. I don't know,
Okay.
but there's so much here, folks. Because as it pertains to our fathers, like that we have to realize that that's, oh, this was one of the things. A lot of us say, I had the greatest dad. Oh, my dad was the best. I love my dad. That's beautiful. That's fine. My daughter says that about me. However, I I was not perfect. And I'm here to tell you, no dad out there was perfect. There's always, no matter how amazing our dads are, and it's not about process. I'm so glad I got to this because this is important to say. It's not about persecuting our dads or you screwed up my life, dad, because you did this one thing or you did these 100 things. It's about realizing that none of us are perfect. And in that, we can, and when we're okay with that, and I gave my daughter permission for this. I'm like, if there's something I did that you that, that you hated, or there's something that makes you angry that you don't no, dad, you were a great dad, you're great. I'm like, oh, thank you for that gift. That's a beautiful gift. But if anything ever comes up, please know that you're not going to hurt me with that
Yeah.
information. It's going to allow me to love you more and for us to be more of a loving bond together, that you feel safe, that you can share that with me. And I want you to know that. So even if it's something small, and this is back to the trauma thing, Ray, it's still trauma. And Ray touched on maybe you didn't have a father that was there. That's very traumatic. He didn't have to physically hurt you or emotionally abuse you by not being there. That could be even more painful than the other things that I just mentioned.
Right.
And sometimes our parents, they didn't know. They were taught. So they thought they were doing well, Ray. They were taught that if the kid's crying, leave them in the crib. Close the door and let them cry themselves to sleep.
I think what it is too is we have to remember father is a role. Not everyone can play a role good. Some people could be great as a relationship partner. Some people are great friends, a great neighbor, could be a great uncle. But for some reason in the father role, just not a good father role. We think about like it's like it's like you can kind of compare it to like an actors in a movie. Some actors are great in action movies. Put them in a comedy and they suck. Suck.
It's a really
You
good.
know, so it's like but that it doesn't mean that person as an actor is bad. They're just not good for that role. And some people just aren't good fathers, but they're good people. And sometimes I think we have to remember that sometimes we see them just as that role as a father, but we have to kind of see the whole person. That person is not just a father. That person is a human being. That person is, somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's. See the complete package, not just see it through the filter. That person's a father. Yeah, maybe they're a crappy father, but they could still be a good person. They're still a person with a soul. That person's
Right.
still,
Right.
you know,
I'm glad you said that, man, because and this isn't excusing any fathers or any person, male, female, or otherwise, behavior like abusive, physical, emotional, whatever. What I'm saying is that a lot of those fathers out there did the best they could with the best that they knew to do. And if they could have done better, they probably would have, but they
yeah,
just didn't know better.
yeah,
And they were maybe not taught very well, and where did they come from, and who taught them, and what did they teach them. And that cycle can go back and back into the roots, man, and far and far and far, and sometimes it gets really, really dark down there, and it gets really, really just scary and deep. But that's where we come from, and that's where our fathers came from. And now we're here with this awareness, and maybe our fathers or our grandfathers and our fathers, grandfathers, fathers didn't have that awareness that we have today as human beings, because the world's different. People are different. We have evolved, certainly. This is a gift. And maybe they won't always hear this gift of what we now know and how aware we are of ourselves and each other and our traumas and how we can heal together. But we could take this to our children, and we can bring this gift to our children's children in the most loving and prosperous of ways. That's all I got to say.
all right, all right.
Woo! That was a
Well,
long one, but we had to do that, Ray.
Mystic Meadow Sanctuary. Here's what the card looks like again.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
Kind of a little Alice in Wonderland vibe or something. I don't know. All right. This card appears as a reminder to replenish your inner resources. It's time to renew your energy and make tending to your own needs a priority. Practice extreme self care. Protect yourself from less than positive influences in your life. The message here is to take shelter, retreat into your home, or spend time in places and with, or in parentheses, and with people where you feel at home. Mend physical objects, organize your possessions, and heal relationships. There is the possibility of a huge spurt of energy in the future, but unless you take this time to create foundations and nourish yourself, you might be overwhelmed by it and miss the opportunities available to you later. This card can also mean that blooming and expansion are at hand. Flowering success awaits you. Healing energy is growing and beautiful things are to come. The spirit of the mystic meadow says, draw nourishment from the wellspring inside you. Be a sanctuary to others. Go within and listen to the voice of your soul. Access your divine guidance. If you have been struggling or pushing, take time off, retreat, rest, and relax. Take a vacation or embark on a retreat.
I'm not going to have to say much to this except
Yeah.
reminding the audience that this is talking about the incoming energies for the 4th of July. So we're not in this yet. We're still in the waves
Yes.
of last week. And if you didn't catch last week's episode, you should definitely listen to that because we're in the middle of that. Let the waves push you to the beaches. Let the waves bring you to the shores of the eucalyptus trees. For next week, you will want to sit beneath them and reflect. And as Ray has already brought to our attention, relax and take some time off. Maybe that's the week you take off from work since we're talking about, we're talking about relationships. So, maybe it's the week you take off from your dating site and you just let things happen. You've planted your seeds. You've gone on your dates. Maybe you just withdraw a little bit, not from people, but just from the act of trying to connect. Or if you're frustrated and you haven't found that person, that friend, that whatever you're thirsting or questing for, and just I keep here this theme keeps coming up, Ray, of reflecting and going in introspection. So going in, recovering from the waves of the week that we're in, still ride those waves, and then next week, trees, eucalyptus, leaves, Homer, America. It's not a competition. Go. Oh, hold on, Ray, we lost you. Just give us a second, folks. We'll be back in these few short moments. I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you once again to like, subscribe, share the episode, the page,
Okay.
YouTube, and he's back. Thank you.
All right. So, we got all this surge of energy coming in, doing all this stuff. You're kind of going, things are going kind of crazy, hectic, big waves. Maybe you're hitting the dating scene. Maybe you found somebody. Maybe things in your relationship are kind of like taking off now, getting serious. But sometimes, you got to take maybe like a step back and kind of, ooh, take a little bit of a breather, and reassess and um, kind of retreat, go back into your heart, go back into maybe not, you stepped out of your comfort zone doing other stuff, but maybe you need to kind of come back a little bit, not out of fear, but just to kind of like take a breath, and kind of assess and be some time for introspection and see what's going on and see where you're headed. And it's okay to take a break, um, especially from relationships. Maybe that means you don't go out that week. Maybe you kind of stay inside. Protect your energy. If you're going out a lot, you're being very social. Sometimes people who are more on the what do you call it, introvert. Sometimes that takes a lot out of us doing some of this social stuff. Like I'm introvert, but I'm not like a total introvert. But I know like if I'm going out a lot, doing a lot of stuff, I get burned out, and I need to kind of like, come back in and stay in a couple weekends or stay in for a little bit and kind of just relax and get my mind, my body back. You know, especially if you're going out and you're maybe partying a little bit, you know, get some good nights of sleep.
We lost Senor Phoenix again. Should be returning to us momentarily, having probably some internet connectivity issues. But all is well, all is fine. Another great reading, of course, and relationships. He's back. He's back.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you're gonna stand too. Is, you know, if you be going out a lot, family and stuff, you need a break. You know, maybe you need to go stay in and, you know, maybe eat better, get some good nights of sleep, instead of going out. Um, you know, even when spending time with your family could be kind of draining. Um, you know, Ramdas used to have a saying too: if you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with your family, because that's gonna bring a lot of stuff out. So,
Yeah.
especially, you know, especially too if you're dealing with this like father wound issue too, you know, that could be that time that you take in and you kind of rest and you kind of do some of that inner work and some of that inner healing, so that way you can ride the next wave out, the next big wave of energy.
And if you're in a relationship and everything's going well or not so well, or however well or not so well it's going, whatever, um maybe the introspection part is taking time not away from your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whomever, but in times of being apart, whether they're at work or they're going to bed or whatever, and you have some alone time, maybe writing out maybe needs that haven't been met or things that you would like to see, maybe transition in the relationship. Like, we should, it would be nice if we went out on walks more, or if we would spend more time connecting without the TV on, or whatever's important to you, playing games together or shopping, going on a vacation, because it did mention that maybe it's a good time for you and your significant other, if that's what you inquired about, to go on a vacation together. If you inquired about a best friend, dude, ain't nothing more spectacular than a road trip with a bestie. Um, and in fact, if there are wounds there as well, go on a retreat together. That's a great way to open some things up and to come either come closer together and heal that deep wound, or maybe ultimately go your separate ways, because that's what's going to be in the best interests of both of you. I don't know. Um, but yeah, definitely a good time to really tap into and ask yourself this question. Is a very hard question for us to ask ourselves. What do I need in my relationship? Psst, plural. S at the end if you want. Whatever. How you doing, Ray?
Good.
Okay. Good. Good. We got four down, two to go.
All right. We got the last one, incoming energy.
Oh,
Nice.
going with the medicine cards.
I like the lightning bolt.
Yeah, me too.
Sounds like the Chargers.
Yeah. Hey, that was my backup fantasy quarterback, Mr. Herbert. And
Yeah, look
he
pretty
should have
good.
he should have been my starting quarterback. Oof. He should have a good sophomore season if they don't make it too confusing for him. That's what ends up happening. We try to complicate things. And to be very clear, on the football field, it is a competition.
All right, I got mine.
Okay, I got to shake, 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 shake. Oh, what's on the bottom? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? What animal was that? What was that? Can you see it? It looked like, I'll never tell. All right, I shuffle up one more time. You got your card, right?
Yeah,
It
I'll
takes
show you.
so long.
I got Earth Spirit Stability.
Is that like, it's a little blurry. Is it like a fairy under the tree?
Yeah, it looks like a fairy.
Hmm.
She's got, I'm not sure what's in her hand, like a flower maybe.
Cool cards, man. Oh,
Aw, dear.
this is such, I've pulled this card many a times. It's such a good
Yeah,
reading. I can't wait to share it.
nice.
All right. Incoming energy. You first?
Yeah, I think I'm this one. All right. It's time to take measure of your life and put your roots down. Assess who you are and where you are. Make plans for the future, but don't act on those plans until you feel secure in stepping forward. This is the time of preparation and going deeper. This card can also indicate that you aren't grounded and you need to create more stability in your life. Think things through before you take action. Take time to plan your future carefully. Don't rush into anything. Strength is growing within you. Security and protection surround you. You are safe. If you're thinking of making secure financial investments and receive this card, it's telling you that this is a good time to do so. It's not time to take it's not time to take risks. The earth spirit provides the trees, plants, flowers, rivers, streams, oceans, mountains, and valleys, and supports us all with her bounty. She's stable and strong in her devotion to us. You're supported and loved, even if you're not always sure of it. The seeds that you plant now will bring abundance in the future, but only if you take the time to nurture those new beginnings. The spirit of the earth says, be present in the moment, slow down and let go of the busyness and frantic part of life. Explore your roots, honor your past, go deep, reflect on your life.
I mean, it pretty much it, it kind of laces up everything we've been talking about the
I know,
last
doesn't it kind of goes with everything? Like,
even like beyond into the last few weeks, man, and this whole rushing of most recently the waves coming in and stuff, and then finally, being delivered to the shores and sitting, recuperating, resting, relaxing, reflecting, all that stuff. The the three R's. After we dock our pirate ship, after sustaining these incredible waves of abundance over this week that we're in right now. Um, but jumping off the ship, getting our feet in the sand, and grounding. It talks about grounding. It talks about really getting deep, and we've talked about that. So take your shoes off, man. Connect with Mother Earth. It's a really invigorating practice called earthing, I believe, um, and especially if you have an outside area where pesticides and poisons and shit aren't being sprayed everywhere. Please enjoy the unadulterated and just blissful connection of the charges that Mother Earth is providing for you and that you can in turn receive in exchange with her. Um, it's such a big deal to take your shoes off. Do it on a beach, do it on your lawn. There's not chemicals involved, please and thank you. And do it wherever you can. And trust me, you'll pick up on those energies if they're not good for you, and then put your shoes on and find another place to connect with. But and sadly, a lot of times you have to get out of the city to do that. But get out of the city, go to a farm, meet a farmer, make some eye contact, make a new friend. Farms are an amazing place to go buy some produce, um, or whatever that farm has available. Um, Go to a farmer's market if the farms are too far away. Trust me, there's farms closer than you think. Just do some research. Um, you'll meet some really, really cool people whose skin and eyes blaze like you've never seen before because they eat the most alive food, right? I mean, it doesn't spend any time in transit. It's like, oh, out of the ground into my mouth, you know, out of the pasture into my belly. Like it's like it doesn't get more life force alive than that. So it's just a challenge for me to you. Go meet a farmer.
right. I mean, what I got out of this too is just maybe take some time, go into nature, maybe go to the park, go for some walks, some nature hikes. Kind of goes along with that other card of slowing down and retreating and taking some time for introspection. So all these waves came in, all this high energy came in. It's coming in now. It's time just to kind of ground yourself and kind of take all that energy, take it all in, and assess it all. And it also says too, don't don't take action until you feel secure, until you feel prepared. And some of that too could be dealing with any kind of resistance you have in moving forward, and whether it's a project or a relationship. And that could be that time when, maybe it's from the father moon. Maybe that's what needs to heal. Maybe that divine masculine, that masculinity energy is the power to move forward and make those decisions and be assurance. And it's a very active, action oriented energy, not passive, or the feminine is like the feminine is. So maybe that's what you kind of need to heal next. Is this energy came in, now it's like, okay, what do I do with this energy? Maybe you took some steps in the direction, but now you're kind of like, whoa, now I need to kind of get some stability, get your sea legs, and um, take some deep breaths and decide where you want to use this energy, where you want to direct this masculine energy, and take that time to heal any resistance you have around taking action, and taking whatever steps you need to take to fulfill whatever it is you want.
Yeah, man, that makes so much sense to wrap it all together by incorporating the sitting still and being in nature and loving yourself and um, the whole reflection piece of what do I need, and and a lot of times when you ask that, those father things will come up just by ask, because that's a lot of times because we were shamed for what we needed, or when we brought to our parents, whether mom or dad, we were told, like blah 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 blah. So yeah, be very specific with what you need, and that might be the trigger to go into a shadow work process, like the completion process, like parts work, or whatever your cup of tea is, to that you feel comfortable and confident utilizing as your self, um, as a self practicing tool, so to speak, for trauma resolution. And that's beautiful time spent out in nature, uh, in a quiet place, wherever you feel called to ground and connect. So wrapping all these things together, Ray, it's really, I'm glad you said that, because I think that's a gift that we can give to the audience and ourselves, you and I,
Yeah,
um, is being in the present with all those things,
yeah, definitely.
and knowing it's okay to ask for help if you can't do it by yourself. You might have to
Yep.
ask several places, but just know
Don't
when you
forget your
find,
don't forget your wolf pack.
yes, ask your wolf pack for help. Are we ready for deer?
Ready for deer.
All right. Joe a deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden. Ray's a drop of golden sun. He's a phoenix. I call myself far, long, long way to fun. 4 is the number on the card. 5 happens to be the bear, and that was the card that I didn't share from the beginning. Doe, a deer. Where's number 4? I'm a
Or
goofball, but
five.
that's okay. Dear, a name I call myself. Gentleness. Okay, there's a quick poem I'll share because I can. Dear, so gentle and loving you are, the flower of kindness, an embrace from afar. Okay, here's the story of Dear. This is a beautiful book. It's a nice way to, and you know what, Ray? Feel free as always to share away, share away. I'm just going to say I'm probably not going to have much to say because this book tells such a beautiful story. But if you have, please share. One day, Fawn heard Great Spirit calling to her from the top of Sacred Mountain. Fawn immediately started up the trail. She didn't know that a horrible demon guarded the way to Great Spirit's lodge. The demon was trying to keep all the beings of creation from connecting with Great Spirit. He wanted all of Great Spirit's creatures to feel that Great Spirit didn't want to be disturbed. This would make the demon feel powerful and capable of causing them to fear him. Fawn was not at all frightened when she came upon the demon. This was curious, as the demon was the archetype of all the ugly monsters that have ever been. The demon breathed fire and smoke and made disgusting sounds to frighten Fawn. Any normal creature would have fled or died on the spot from fright. Fawn, however, said gently to the demon, "Please let me pass. I'm on the way to see Great Spirit." Fawn's eyes were filled with love and compassion for this oversized bully of a demon. The demon was astounded by Fawn's lack of fear. No matter how he tried, he could not frighten Fawn because her love had penetrated his hardened, ugly heart. Much to the demon's dismay, his rock hard heart began to melt, and his body shrank to the size of a walnut. Fawn's persistent love and gentleness had caused the meltdown of the demon. Due to this gentleness and caring that Fawn embodied, the pathway is now clear for all of Great Spirit's children to reach Sacred Mountain without having to feel the demons of fear blocking their way. Deer teaches us to use the power of gentleness to touch the hearts and minds of wounded beings who are trying to keep us from Sacred Mountain. Like the dappling, of Fawn's coat, both the light and the dark may be loved to create gentleness and safety for those who are seeking peace. If Deer has gently nudged its way into your cards today, you are being asked to find the gentleness of spirit that heals all wounds. Stop pushing so hard to get others to change and love them as they are. Apply gentleness to your present situation and become like the summer breeze, warm and caring. This is your tool for solving the present dilemma you are facing. If you use it, you will connect with Sacred Mountain, your centering place of serenity, and Great Spirit will guide you.
Wow, that's a great reading. That
How?
reminded me of the story. I think I've shared some about that. This was one story that Ramdas used to read. It wasn't his story, but it was about the keto guy who took the bus, and there was the drunk guy on the bus, and the drunk guy was angered, and the keto fighter was somebody who was trained for years, but he never like got into combat. Like he never actually like fought somebody. So he was always looking for that, that reason to like, for that fight to use his training. And then the drunk guy is on the train, and he like whatever like caused some conflict with some people, some women, and everyone was scared. And then right when the guy, he got up, he was ready to go like fight this guy. Like this is it. This is my time to kind of, use my training, use my skills, my martial arts. And some old like 78 guy in a kimono was like, "Hey!" And they were both like, "What?" And then the guy looks to the drunk like, "What you been drinking?" And the guy's like, the drunk guy was like, "Sake." You know what? And the guy was like, "Oh, I love sake. Me and my wife, we go into the tree at night, and we sit there and we drink our sake, and it's so good." And he starts talking, and the drunk guy who was all angry, his face softens, and he's just like, "Yeah, like, say something about a persimmon tree," and he's like, "Yeah, I like persimmons too." And the old man's like, "Come down and sit, tell me about it. You must have a wonderful wife and a job." And the old guy, the drunk, was like, my wife died. I'm homeless. I have no job. And then the keto guy was, who was ready to kick this guy's ass, was like, now he's like, "Man, I feel like a piece of shit." I was ready to kick this guy's ass and be the hero. But look, this guy is like obviously dealing with some kind of pain, some kind of trauma. So now he felt like, man. So it kind of goes to show that you don't need muscle and might always to solve your problems. That just being gentle with somebody, being open with somebody, and being loving, compassionate, and gentle, that creates more change, I think, than anything. You know, you don't change somebody by trying to convince them to be different or telling them that they need to change. A lot of times, the biggest change just comes from loving somebody and allowing that person to be who they truly are. That was really what changed me when I met Ron Dawson. He didn't tell me to do anything. He just looked at me and he loved me, and that was the change. I never been looked at like that before, and that's what kind of opened me up. So yeah, so it's not always, you don't always have to struggle and fight and scrape and push and pull. Sometimes it's just being open and just allowing and meeting whatever it is with loving compassion, loving awareness.
And stop assuming that we know everybody's story, because we really don't know anybody's story until they share it with us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the greatest gifts that we can give to ourselves and each other, is ask one another, to share their story with us, and some, to whatever degree they feel comfortable with. And those are the greatest conversations, when someone can just tell you their story, and 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 have, there's no agenda attached to the conversation, no time constraints or anything. Just tell me your story, and maybe it's just one aspect of their story. If it's a stranger, so to speak. I tell that story all the time of the guy sitting on the bench that was
Yeah.
drunk, and he just needed someone to ask him why he was angry, and Ray, he never told me. But that, I wasn't trying to change him. I wasn't
Right.
trying to do anything in that situation, but just give him the presence of another human being that, you know may care for him. And that that may have changed him for the rest of his life. I felt it did. Like,
Mhm.
because he said it took 66 years for someone to just ask him why he was angry. And he melted like the heart of remember the demon,
Yeah.
in the reading there. Like, I watched this guy, he melted, because he just needed that gentle presence, that dear presence. And look, man, I'm not always that person, because I meet people with fear and trepidation all the time. And I have my own things that I bring to the table that I'm not always able to get over. I'm not the perfect superhuman that goes around sitting park bench to park bench and transforming people's lives. But in that instance, that forever changed me, because I'm like, what? I was in one of those chill, I don't give a fuck modes, right? And this
Yeah.
person sat next to me, and that all by itself was a lesson for me. I'm like, wow, dude, I didn't bring anything to that table, like, my fears or anything like that. I was already like sitting there at the table, and this person just comes up, and I didn't, I, I just didn't give a fuck. I don't know what it was in that moment, but I didn't have the weight of all the past or my traumas on my shoulder for some reason. I was
Mhm.
just in a good place, waiting for my partner to come out of a store. It was a festival or something, whatever, footloose and fancy free, blah blah blah. But there was so much to learn there, and just giving someone that gentleness,
Right.
you know, and I'll do it whenever I can now, because I've realized just how much we all need it. I need it. I'd love for someone to, to do that with me too, and just be like, hey, you look sad, man. Is there anything you want to share?
Yeah.
And I probably won't want to share, especially if I don't know the person, because I am very guarded. But just to have someone acknowledge that and see that in me, and offer that presence, that's just a really, I think that's the deer like thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, really, that's kind of what we offer each other, is our presence and our being, and that comes with our ability to be open.
Yeah. And I think, in summation, for this whole thing with the deer and the gentleness, is to remind each other, Phoenix Ray, that we should be gentle with ourselves. That's where
Definitely.
that's where it all starts. um, and not and when we're doing, because in this coming week and everything that we've read, it says that we're going to need to do some introspection and fatherly stuff. So meeting that father, in, if you want to put the word demon on it, go ahead. That father demon, or that father trauma, or whatever your relationship was with your father, but like meeting those energies or those pains or memories, like the deer.
Yeah. So it seems like the theme of this week is self care, introspection,
Gentleness.
still kind of being okay with asking for help, asking for other people's advice, insights, knowing that you don't have to do this alone. But at the same time, though, taking some time for yourself and really just assessing what's going on in your life before you take that next step. So,
Being gentle with ourselves and each other.
yeah.
It's not a competition. Asking each other about our stories. Let's start telling each other stories again. Let's really let's let's take what is it called? A detour from chit chat, and let's get into some stories, man. Let's get into the roots of what makes up each other, and let's connect in ways that we've long been thirsting for, especially during this last year and a half plus of whatever of turbulent craziness. Let's come back together, inquire in one another, please. It's so important. Ray,
Yes.
I want to know more about your story. But fortunately, we get to do it every week, before and after the show, which I still feel, Ray, is the greatest of great, because your life is a beautiful story. And I think, I have some things that happen to me that are quite wonderful too. This is a great show, but there's something before and end of the show that you guys don't get to see that I think is magical as well. If you're curious, ask us. Maybe we'll share.
Right.
I got nothing else. How about you?
I got nothing else, man. So
All right.
here it is, the week of 4th of July. Be ready, relax, take it easy, be present, be gentle with yourself, be open to others. Don't forget your wolf pack. And
Homer Simpson, America. Eat some leaves and sit under a tree.
yes.
I'm John with a J.
Phoenix Ray. Namaste. We out.
We out.